Hey there, Hyper here. God's number is the maximum amount of moves needed to solve any of the 43 quintillion permutations on a 3x3. Now we know that this number is 20, or do we? In the past, we have claimed to have found God's number, but we've been proven wrong in the future as technology advanced. So how do we know that 20 is the lowest we can go? And is it possible to use math to find God's number? On a 3x3, there are 18 different moves you can make. You can do the clockwise turn, the counterclockwise turn, or the double turn. So, on your first turn, you end up with 18 different permutations you can have. Now, on the second turn, you have 324 different permutations, which is 18 to the second power. You can probably see where we're going with this. 18 to what power is equal to 43 quintillion? That question would be pretty easy to solve. Here's an online logarithmic calculator, as my calculator is out of battery. So you plug in the base as 18, and the final product will be 43 quintillion, 252 something, yeah. So that is that, and we will calculate. And as you can see, 15.64. Let's round up to 16. So it would take 16 moves to get to any of the 43 quintillion possible permutations on the 3x3. Now you may be saying, wait, Hyper, what about the wide moves, the slice moves, and the cube rotations? Well, those aren't included in the 43 quintillion permutations, and it wouldn't make sense to include them here either, because if you add them to the base, the exponent would have to get drastically smaller to be equal to 43 quintillion. And 16 is already way smaller than 20. It sounds reasonable, right? 18 to the power 16 is about 43 quintillion. So if you do any of the 18 moves on a 3x3 16 times, you should be able to get to any of the 43 quintillion possible permutations, right? Now, what if you scrambled a 3x3 with 16 moves, and then you do one more? That's 17 moves, but it's still one of the 43 quintillion permutations, so it should be able to be solved in 16 moves. Computer tests that are ran to find God's number solve 3x3 instead of scrambling it up. As we know, it is way harder to solve something than to mix it up. So, for example, take two prime numbers like 13 and 17 and multiply them together. You would get 221. Now, if you had 221 and were asked to find the factors without knowing them, it would take you a while to find the factors. And that's kind of what's happening here. The computer is being tasked with going through a bunch of numbers, which are the permutations, and not only solving them, but is tasked with finding the most optimal solution. It would take them an absurd amount of time. So, what did we learn today? Is God's number really 16? Well, we don't know yet. Maybe in a few years, technology will evolve and we'll see God's number drop. But what we did learn today is that it is much more easier to mix something up than to separate it into its components. It's easier to scramble up a 3x3 than solve it. It is easier to have disorder and chaos than to sustain order. Entropy increases. That's just how the universe works. And as always, thanks for watching.